Talk to me with Adedoja Allen.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Talk to Me with myself, Adedoja Allen. I am the MD CEO of City 1051 FM. You can stream us live by visiting our website on www.city.1051fm.com to listen live or on Mixlr at City 1051 FM. You can also go to any Google Play Store or iOS Store and search for City 1051 FM to download the City FM app and just listen on the go. Easy peasy. So, as we all know, on this show, we delve into and discuss marriage and its complexities. We have had several discussions that borders on building and sustaining healthy marriages. We talked about topics ranging from communication in marriage, 5 love languages, infidelity, infertility, intimacy, sex abuse, finance, family planning, a word for the singles, age gap, power of apology, before you say I do, what do men want, what do women want? Quite a lot. To name a few, we've actually talked about quite a lot. And the objective of this show is to share in your experience in your marriage, talk about your real life issues, and then offer counsel that will help build that godly marriage that will strengthen the family systems and the marriage that will be enjoyable to both spouses and eventually produce godly children, raise godly children. Nowadays, it's so heartbreaking that we see the effect of what bad marriages and bad parenting causes in the lives of young men and young women, or boys and girls. And we want to avoid such too many of such episodes from occurring every time we read on social media. These so people are having issues or problems in their marriage. These people are separated. These ones are divorced. All sorts of heartbreaking news or testimonials about marriages. We need to talk about these real life issues, not the story, not the things that we read in the story, but what actually does happen in homes and how people or couples should just address the situation. So tonight on this show, we will talk about conflict management in marriage. Conflict management in marriage sounds very conflicts. But what do you think? Let me even first of all start by asking my listener, what do you think? Do you think conflict is avoidable in marriage? Do you think there's a way a couple can be together, stay married without having conflict? Or do you even think that conflict is healthy for marriages? We'll talk about that much later in the show. Most couples don't like to admit it, but conflict is common to all marriages and relationships. Very, very common. We've all rather had our share of conflict in one way or the other, and some of our disagreements have not been too nice, again, one way or the other. In fact, we could write a long list about our experience when it comes to conflict. Am I right? You, A, will write a long list, B will write a long list. Because, for example, in marriage, you and your partner are two people with different backgrounds and personalities, and then now add the daily trials of life, the different expectations, and those not too fascinating habits. Then, you are bound to have conflict. It's unavoidable, totally unavoidable. Since every marriage relationship has its issues, conflict management isn't a matter of avoiding these issues, but of how we can grow and learn to handle them. That's what I want us to really look at. How do we grow and handle them in healthy ways that it will not degenerate and it will not cause a rift. It will not cause a breakup, a divorce between husband and wife. Conflict can either lead to a process that develops oneness or isolation. But however, you and your partner must choose how you will act when conflict occurs. You need to both agree. How do we want to react when conflict occurs between us? So tonight, I will start by sharing the three D's that are the principles that it's been found very helpful in pursuing peace and reconciliation when there's a misunderstanding or conflict in our marriages. So the first D is of the three principles of conflict management is decide. What do we mean by that? Again, we're trying to talk critically about conflict. Conflict is unavoidable in a marriage. But when it happens, what do we do? We're looking at three key principles to help us. The first is decide. You have to make a conscious decision from the beginning of your marriage to make peace no matter the cost of sacrifice. Husband, decide. Wife, decide. Not one party, but both of you. One of the reasons we have conflict in marriages is because opposites attract. It's strange, right? But that is part of the reasons you married who you did. Your spouse added a variety, spice, and difference to your marriage, that he didn't have before. He didn't have it before, but after being married for a while, sometimes maybe a short while, then the attractions start to become turn-offs. You may even start to argue over small things, little things, such that you wonder how and why God placed you together in the first place. But it's important to understand that you and your partner are different backgrounds, different. You were brought up in different ways. So then you decide to accept and adjust to these differences. Just as Adam accepted God's gift of Eve, she was a different person. You are called to accept his gifts to you in the person of your partner. God gave you a spouse who completes you, complements you, completes you. As the Bible says that the wife is the helpmeet. So this complements and this completion is in ways that you hadn't even learned, you don't even know at all. But you and your partner must be intentional about resolving any misunderstanding in your marriage, because unless you make that decision, unless you decide, unless you are intentional to make peace a high priority in your marriage, you will always have reason to talk back, fight back, get what you want, or you insist on your own ways. Unless you decide, unless both of you decide that we are going to make this work. Conflict is not a village people that is doing you. Conflict does happen. It's inevitable, extremely inevitable between a husband and wife. No matter how much you love each other, no matter how many years you have been together, we need to understand that and take it that it will always happen. You have different approach to doing things. You have different approach to finances. You have different approach to intimacy. One might be the spender, the other might be the conservative one. Different approach to things. You have different approach to how you view the kind of school that your children should go to. You have, so many discussions or issues in your marriage. You have different approach to it. But, if care is not taken, if it's not handled correctly or properly, it is those different approaches that usually lead or degenerate into conflict. And again, if that conflict is not properly managed, then that's what causes the breakup. So, and we want to avoid this. We have to avoid this. We don't want too many breakups. So the next D is discover. To manage conflict, we said the first thing is to decide. The next one is then to discover. You need to discover who you are. Who is the husband? Who is the wife? City 1051 FM. your number one lifestyle station. Time check, it's 41 minutes past the hour of 8 p.m. tonight. And the numbers to call if you want to join the conversation is 070010511051. Topic of discussion is conflict management in marriage. Okay, and I talked about the first principle to avoid this or to manage this is decide. The next one is to discover. How do you manage conflict with the word discover? You need to discover. The first thing is who you are. Who is the husband? Who is the wife? How do you react to things? How do you react to conflict? Do you lash out? Or do you give the silent treatment? Which one are you? Do you seek to punish your spouse? Do you harbor resentment in your heart? Knowing your tendencies and dispositions to handling conflict is critical in addressing issues in a very, very healthy manner. When you are mindful of yourself, then you can be more aware and proactive in preventing a conflict from escalating. So if you discover yourself, you're mindful of who you are, you know the kind of temperament that you have, you know that, you usually get ticked off, you're not the type that takes jokes very, easily. So just know who you are, know what your trigger is. Then it helps to prevent a conflict from arising or from escalating. So you need to also discover what is at the root of each person's conflict as a couple. What causes your conflict? If you are a couple that argues a lot or that you conflict a lot, you need to get to the bottom of why you think this happens all the time. Unrelated issues often pop up, but we must ask ourselves what the underlying issue is. Is there an issue under the surface that inspired the argument? Oftentimes there's always an issue. Like I did say, you will just disagree on, okay, the children should go to this school, or the children should do this time around. You will just have it's natural, but come to that resolution, come so that it does not allow the conflict to fester on. So is there an issue under the surface that inspired the arguments? Yes, oftentimes there is. Finding and fixing these underlying issues can take a lot of weight off your shoulders and prevent future fights. And the best way to discover these issues is by discussing it with your partner. That is effective communication. Remember, we talked about communication as well in the course of the show. Communication is extremely essential. There is a bedrock. Extremely. Discuss it, dissect it. Talk about what you both can do to replace any unhealthy habits, and then that often lead to your arguments. Talk about it from all the angles, the way you feel, pour it out, say it as it is, say how you feel. There's no need to hide your feelings or your emotions. Give each other permission when you see unhealthy spouse, unhealthy response to, just gently point it out instead of raging, allowing it to rage into fights, quarrels, or argument. When it comes to conflicts, what I realized that one person is usually a peacemaker, if you notice, and the other is a peace dweller. You know what I mean? Now, what do I mean by that? You will notice that we all know this. A peacemaker is that person who initiates the peace process most of the time. One person is always that. While the peace dweller is the one who rarely initiates the peace process or apologizes, but that one receives the peace, welcomes the peace for the sake of peace. That's the dweller. You would agree with me that happens. One person, either the husband or the wife, either of you will be that peacemaker or the peace dweller. Which are you, by the way? Talk to me. 070010511051. So it's important to discover which pole you belong to, and discovering this will help you manage each other and also resolve conflicts. So it's very important to do that. So we've talked about where you decide and you discover as the principles in managing conflict. The third D, we said 3 Ds. First is decide, and the second is discover. That's discover yourself in the 3 Ds. The third D and the last D is determine. That's the third principle of managing conflict. Determine what action to take. Let's talk about the Bible. I like to use examples from the Bible. If you've been following this show, you know that Romans 12:18 says that it is possible, as much as depends on you, live peaceably with all men. So determine, make up your mind, be resolute about it, be dogged about it, that you're going to follow peace in your marriage. The longer I live, the more I realize how difficult those words are for many, many, many people. Determine. Living peaceably means pursuing peace, allowing peace to reign. We know that. Just let peace reign. Some people are just not peacemakers at all. They don't like peace. Everything must turn into an argument. Everything you must talk about. Sometimes look away, overlook it. It's not everything that you pinpoint. It's not everything that you bring up. It's not everything that, you know what I mean. It's not everything that you need explanation or you need an answer to. Just let it go. It just means that you take the initiative to resolve a difficult conflict rather than waiting for another person or the other person to take the first step. It means just apologizing. It can be that you apologize first, even though you did not do anything wrong. How many of us do that just for the sake of peace? Apologize, and you know that you're not the one that is wrong. It takes a lot of maturity to do that. A lot of maturity. So, yeah, and then so it's not enough to just decide to be at peace with other people and discover areas of constant or potential conflict. So we must also be determined to handle those areas or issues the right way. So when we know it, let's handle it right. It's always very important that when we see conflict brewing, when you see it coming, you know when it is brewing. We all know. Just nip it in the bud immediately. It is said that a stitch in time saves 9. Why allow it to fester? Why allow it to degenerate? Remember, every conflict has an incubation period. And early intervention just prevents further development. It doesn't mean that you're a fool or you're an idiot. You're just, allowing peace to reign. Number 2 call to join me in the conversation tonight on Talk to Me with myself, Adedoja Allen. Topic of discussion: conflict management in marriage is 07001051. So, as I was saying, a stitch in time saves 9. Just remember that every conflict has an incubation period, and early intervention prevents further development. By your determination to prevent one conflict, you'd reduce the potentials of several other conflicts. I'd love to hear how how you have handled conflict in your marriage, one way or the other. I would love to have a very good example. So I conclude by saying that, I just want us to keep this in mind, that in marriage or in any relationship for that matter, no matter how much you try to love and please each other, you will fail at some point. It's only natural. You will fail at some point. It's not a curse. It's just not a curse. It happens. It is reality. So let's not deceive ourselves. With this failure, comes hurt. There's no need to deceive ourselves. The only ultimate relief for hurt is the soothing comfort of forgiveness. Forgiveness. Without it, all that we have said is useless. Forgiveness has a very, very huge part to play in conflict. The key to maintaining an open, intimate, and happy marriage is to ask for and grant forgiveness very quickly. As a matter of fact, very, very quickly. And the ability to do that is tied to each individual's relationship with God. We've talked about how we put God to be at the center of our marriage. When we have God, we have everything. Again, I'll go to the Bible. The Bible said, Jesus said, if you forgive men for their transgressions, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men, then your Father will not forgive your transgressions. That is Matthew 6:14-15. How easy do you forgive the other party, your spouse? Do you remember that I also am not perfect? Oh, Do have such thoughts? I'm also not perfect. I also do one thing or two things that, I've been forgiven, or I would like to be forgiven. So, then you allow that to help you to forgive. The instruction is clear. We need to forgive. God insists that we are to be forgivers. You should forgive. You need to let things go, forgive and move on. Not forgive and then refer to it. Forgive, forget it and move on. Marriage is one thing that would really, really teach us how to forgive. It's always an avenue that teaches us to practice forgiveness all the time. Frequent opportunity. It always presents frequent opportunities for us to forgive every day. So when you eagerly seek to forgive, then you're pursuing oneness, not isolation. Right. So we need to analyze today's topic. These are my own views, but let me take the views of my listener. To be part of this show, like I did say, you can get through to me on the phone line 07001051. Then you can also send me a message on WhatsApp on 0909916443. What do you think are the causes of conflict in marriage or relationship? What do you think about it? Talk to me. Call me. Time check is 52 minutes past the hour of 8 p.m. tonight, Thursday, the 23rd of September 2021. And you're tuned into with me. You're speaking to me, myself, Adedoja Allen. Topic of discussion is conflict management in marriage. What do you think? How have you handled the conflict between yourself and your spouse? Have you had any major fights or disagreements that you resolved in an amicable way that you want us to learn from? Talk to me. Have you also had one that was nearly caused a breakup between both of you? Talk to me. Or have you had one that has actually caused the marriage to break up? Again, we'd like to hear from you. What are the causes and how have you handled this in your marriage? And then we mentioned that a peacemaker. Okay, let me take a call there. Yes. Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello.
Yeah, calling from.
Hello.
Magode. Yeah, I'm calling from Magode.
Hello, yeah. Please speak up.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh my, I'm struggling to hear you there. Oh, I'm struggling to hear you. I'm struggling to hear you. Okay, please call me back. The network is actually very, very bad. I don't know. I couldn't hear you well. Please call me back. Number again is 07001051 and then send me a text message, or also call this backup number 0909916443. Conflict in marriage. What are the causes of it? What do you think? Have you had? Yes, I have another caller there. Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Daniel.
Okay. Yes. Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yes.
Daniel.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Daniel from Aja.
Aja. All right, go ahead. Talk to me.
Aja.
Yes, I heard you. Daniel from Aja.
Yeah. Yeah, regarding the issue of resolution when it comes to couples or relationships, these days, it's very, very an essential problem to the community and to the society as well. Because these days, when one becomes the peacemaker all the time, you see that the person is weak. Because this this period or this current that is happening around, when one is kind, they feel to be weak. So, but when one is always agitating, you feel like this person is a very strong person. So it's not easy for somebody to always be the peacemaker all the time. Sometimes one gets tired as well. Because when you keep on doing the peacemaking, it looks like as if the other person is always on the edge. It's a problem. So so
you're right.
Peacemaker.
So which are you? You know, I talked about one person being the peacemaker and the other one being the peace dweller. Which one are you, Daniel? Are you the peacemaker or the peace dweller in your marriage?
I'm in a relationship.
What did you say?
I'm in a relationship. I'm not yet married.
You're not married. Okay, I assume that you were. Okay, so how long have you been in the relationship?
I've been in the relationship for like probably maybe 2 years. But because I've been the peacemaker, so it always looks like I am the one that is always investing more in the relationship. And I'm the one investing new love, new affection, new emotion. Because come to think of it, maybe you dialogue with the person. So matter that does not even make sense. I don't know, maybe you become the bigger person and you apologize. So if you keep on continuing and continue, this becomes a problem. Because the person always knew that even if I messed up, he always comes to apologize. Even if I am at fault, he always comes to apologize. It does not about an option. So it becomes a problem. So things should not even always be on one hand. Of course, it's not supposed to be on both ends. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. I understand. We all feel like that at some point. Thanks a lot for your call and your contribution, Daniel. City 1051 FM, your number one lifestyle station. That was Daniel from Aja, who called to contribute to the topic conflict management in marriage. You know, and Daniel's point of view is you always make peace. More like one day you're gonna get tired. So I asked him, are you the peacemaker or the peace dweller? So I mean, yes, I think the conclusion of it is we need to choose one. And like he said, if one person is one that makes peace all the time, then that person will get tired one day, and you don't even want that to happen. So it's better for both parties to be the peacemaker. Yes, another call. Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Alan. Good evening. My name is Theo. I'm calling from.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? I'm always excited when my callers call me. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Theo. I'm calling from Ogba.
Theo from Ogba. All right, Theo.
Yeah. Okay,
go ahead, talk to me. Your contribution. Conflict management. Which are you? Are you a peacemaker or peace dweller, or have you had any conflict in your marriage that you want to tell us?
Yeah, I'll start with the peacemaker part. I'm a peacemaker. I'm very much a peacemaker.
You're a peacemaker.
Yes, not primarily because I'm a Christian, but I grew up in an environment where peace was primarily the order of the day. Where conflicts, we communicate a lot. We talk through our conflicts. We don't let the sun go down, as the biblical text would encourage, right? So primarily that was the environment I grew up in. So getting married, it was a thing I brought also into the marriage. Was something that, and my approach towards every conflict was to be at peace consistently. Okay, but in last year during the pandemic, I realized that 7 years of always being at peace, the other party, my better half, I've been taking it for granted for the longest, but last year it seemed like I couldn't just handle it anymore.
I'm struggling to hear you.
I was frustrated. Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. Are you married?
Sure. I said I've been married for 7 years. Last year,
Okay, yes, 7 years. Okay.
Last year, during the pandemic, maybe 7 years.
Okay.
So in the pandemic was when I realized that I'd invested so much in the marriage as a man. I feel like, I was the one always, at the helm of affairs of every peacemaking conflict. The other party would rather not talk about it, would rather be manipulative, last year was the height for me. So I decided not to, bother myself. I said, what? If this marriage is as important to you as it's important to me, right? I will see you fight for it. So I tried to remove my hand from, all the things I normally would do, which is apologize, be at peace, even when the other party is just being irrational and childish and immature. I would still, naturally I would go and still want to be the bigger party and, do the right thing. But last year, I said, no, I was handling too much. I said, no, what? Let me take my hands off and see if this person is going to, at least come through at some point. But to my dismay, that didn't happen. So the marriage, started heading towards divorce. Hello, are you there?
Very well, I can hear you well. Go on.
Okay, great. So the marriage started heading towards divorce. So what happened was, I said to my better half, I said, look, all I want is just for you to meet me halfway. That's all I want. I don't want you to do the exceptional. I don't want you to do anything out of the ordinary. Just meet me halfway.
Just the basic. The basic.
Yeah. No, I'm always going out overboard. But this time around, I was like, you know what? I don't want to go overboard. I just want to do my part. You play your part. Meet me halfway. But she didn't understand that. And then, for 6 months we were at it. It was lawyers. It was, human rights. I lost my cool, and I gave her a slap at some point, and it became, the case was now not me, the nice guy. I wasn't a nice guy anymore. I was not the man who was a wife beater and all of that. So it was a battle for me throughout last year until sometime in August, towards reconciliation, I started seeing her meet me halfway. I didn't want to get to the point where I said sometime in August, she started meeting me halfway. I didn't want it to get to a point where I would lose my cool and physically abuse her, even though that was what it took to get her to meet me halfway. I'm not saying that it was because of the slap, but you see, it was that triggered the family coming together and asking questions, and all the things that it seemed like I was frustrated about.
Did you raise your hands on her?
Yes, that's what I said. I said it got me. I got.
Was it a one-off? Was it a one-off?
Yes, it was. Well, I atoned for it. I reached out to her family. I begged. I tried to make her see that, look, I'm not the man that wants to physically abuse you. I just lost my cool. It was something that I did not plan for. But again, what I'm trying to say is, it was so much bottling up. 7 years of bottling things up. 7 years of putting things under the carpet. One thing I want to say to anyone listening out there: please always talk about how you feel. Don't ever keep it. Don't keep it in your heart. Never do that. Especially as a man. Most men will be, egocentric and egoistic and not express how they truly feel about a certain matter. They feel is weak. Why would I say that? That's child. Oh no, I should be the man. I don't think that's right. And I learned the hard way because he almost cost me my marriage. Yes, he almost cost me my marriage. I believe we are all human beings. Forget what society says, forget what I don't know what creed or orientation of creed says that a man should not express, a man can't cry, a man can't be weak, a man can't be vulnerable. To be honest, those is babas, is false, is a lie. Until I started weeping, until I started crying, until I started becoming vulnerable, that's when I started becoming human. Right? I'm human, so I started becoming human when I let my guard down.
Absolutely.
Expressing myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so has it been resolved now?
Oh yeah. We're working through it, through therapy. We're working through a lot of things. Yes,
that's a good
I'm
one.
Just saying that.
And she doesn't hold anything against you.
We're working through, like I said, through therapy. She did. Good. She's a very childish person. I have to be honest. If she's listening to it, I'm sorry, baby, but you're very childish.
But I think a big well done to both of you for trying to make it work. A big well done to both of you. Especially because at some point, you said that at some point you almost led to divorce. And you guys had to pull the brakes on that. So you both made that effort and contribution to make it work. So I think that's I would say that's a big well done. I will applaud you for that. It's a big well done to you and your wife for that. So keep working, on what you're doing, and don't stop being you. If you're the peacemaker, Theo, just continue to be. Don't let anything change you. Don't stop being you. Like you rightly said, while you are being you, she will come round and start to understand that this is who you are, and then she will now begin to develop those traits and qualities that you want her to do that will make you happy. Like you said, you're not asking for too much, you're just asking her to make you happy. I like your contribution. I didn't even know. I was wishing that I would have someone that would tell me about conflicts that has nearly caused a breakup between both of them. I didn't even know I was going to get a caller this soon. But I'm really proud of you. I think it's a big well done, and just keep at it, and the Lord will see you both through. Thank you, Theo, for calling. That was Theo on the line. I shared his contributions with us on the show tonight. City 1051 FM, your number one lifestyle station. Time check, it's 8 minutes past the hour of 9 p.m. Time is running fast. I have a guest on the show tonight. I want to introduce, she's been on the show before, and now she wants to come on, or she's coming on rather, to talk about a very important and special program that is coming up. So okay, I'll let her to do the talking. I have Mrs. St. Petersburg Jigo on the line. Hello.
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 I can hear you. Good evening.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, the line is quite faint.
I can hear you very well.
Okay, now I can hear you. Hear you. All right, so I have Apostle St. Petersburg Jigo on the line. To all the regular listeners of City, you would notice that she has a show, an early morning, everyday show on City FM, and she also has a Sunday program on City FM. To all our fans that have been listening, it's time to talk to her or hear her or meet up with her at the program that she's doing. So now let me not say much. So Mrs. Jigo, welcome to the show tonight. You were here earlier on the day, and now you're here again. Yes. So welcome to the show tonight. First of all, I would like you to tell us about the program Revisitation.
Okay, now, thank you. Like I said, thank you so much for having me. I always enjoy it here. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're having the program on the 1st of October. Now, while we usually hold our October conferences in Abuja, but because we have starved Lagos of our meetings, so we started to, do Lagos the service, holding it here this year. Okay, so and this would be the very first time that the theme of the conference is the mandate, which is I will revisit your marital destiny. So if you've been missing any of our previous meetings, this is one that you should not miss. I wouldn't miss it. And special grace of God, yes. So this meeting is, the theme of this meeting is the mandate. I will revisit your marital destiny, and God will do it. It's a promise from God, and His promises never fail. It's coming up on the 11th, on the 1st of October, 11 a.m., right here in the city of Lagos.
So who's the program for? Who are your target audience? Who should attend?
Okay, our target audience consists of the separated, people who are separated, the divorced, those who are married but having a raw deal, those who are divided and are facing dehumanizing situations, circumstances in their homes, those who are victims of domestic and sexual violence. And regardless of your creed, regardless of your gender, now why gender? I have discovered, and sadly so, that it is not only women who are facing abuse, men too are facing abuse. I've had more men call me to share their marital issues in terms of the crisis that they're having. And they are deal-breaking crisis. You have a man who is facing the same thing that women have been going through for millennia. And it's disheartening, it is frightening, because like, where are we going? So regardless of your creed, your gender, you are welcome. If you are in pain as a result of a bad relationship, we are expecting you. This program is for you. God has so much to show you about yourself that people are not appreciating. But you've got to come and hear it and be the person that God created you to be.
Right. So in a nutshell, it's for the broken in a marriage, the broken, those that have been broken.
Marriage, yes, in relationships.
In relationships.
Yes, so people who are in pain as a result of bad relationships. Okay. Yes. Particularly, yes. So anyone that is in pain, you are carrying pain, you're in agony, you're bitter, come. Okay? That marriage, devalue the marriage, you're like at the verge of insanity. You are at the verge of suicide. You're at the verge of a divorce. Like, it might interest you to know that my cousin, he called me 2 days ago, yesterday, and told me of a couple that are willing to divorce each other. The woman wants to divorce the man wants to divorce her. Then they heard about the mandate and they told my cousin that they would like to speak with me. So I gave her the number and they said that they would like to speak with me. I said, okay, before they get that divorce, you need to speak with me. And of course, with me, I mean for them to hear what God has to say by the mandate. To God be the glory. And even when I heard that, I thought that quite interesting. 2 people want to get a divorce, but they are willing to seek counsel. That is amazing. Because most times we always have marital crisis. It's usually one party. One party is usually the person seeking counsel. But even if the party seeks for counsel and gets it, it may not help the situation when I say may not help the situation, like what a person wants is to not have the crisis in the first place. But it takes two to tango. So yes, it will require both parties being interested in each other, being interested in saving the relationship, for that relationship to be saved. So I'm really looking forward to meeting with this couple. I'm really looking forward to it.
I must really, Mrs. Jigo, I must really commend your passion for these class of people. You're highly passionate about them. I mean, your 5:20 a.m. show on City addresses these people. You carry that burden. So that means that there's a lot for them to look forward to on October 1st.
Oh yes. There's a lot for them to look forward to, particularly understanding what I referred to in the morning as the software, that by which they operate. Okay, for them to understand the ideology, there is something that is driving them to keep the abuse industry alive, because it is becoming like a huge market. For as long as the abused has that thing in them, the abuse will never end. It does not. You cannot legislate it out of existence. One way to eradicate it is to get into the mind of the abused. I was once in abuse, so I know exactly what I am talking about. I was once there. Yes, I understand what I'm talking about. And today God has sent me to people from those similar relationship backgrounds to get them to the place of their happily ever after. Just like He did for me. Okay? Now, will I tell you that, I've never had issues in my marriage? That would be a big lie. But they have not been deal breaker issues. To God be the glory. Where two people are interested in each other, and I was telling someone that, hey, we've been married for like 13 years now, okay? I said to the person that in 13 years, we've had like 3 major quarrel. Now the second, I remember the second one. Let me check the second one. The second one that happened was over a wall, was during the lockdown. And my husband now did this beautiful wall for me. So he called me to come and check it out. So when I looked at it, I saw, women can see what men know. so I saw a defect, and I referred to it as I said, babes. So he was like, no, I should excuse him. And I said, but it's my wall. The problem with what I said was I used the personal pronoun, singular, mine. And he was like, what did you say? I said, but it's my wall. It's like you're doing the wall for me. And all hell broke loose. Now, what does that mean? Even if you're married to your soulmate, even if you're married to your best friend, the devil is going to give you a serious chase for your money. He will chase you. He will seek to chase you down. Okay, but when you understand your dominion mandate in marriage, God's dominion mandate to the man and to the woman, the devil's tantrums, the devil's evil works are dead on arrival. And that is my experience. I can tell people that Christianity is an interesting experience. It is an interesting experience because it does not promise you a bed of roses. And even if it did promise us a bed of roses, hey, roses have thorns. Okay.
Okay, sorry, just let's 1 minute, let's take your jingle in 1 minute, and then we'll come back to this discussion. Please stay tuned.
Thank you.
God said to me,
I will revisit your marital destiny.
And He did. Does your marriage feel like a living hell? Are you separated, divorced, or devalued by the one you love? You are about to be revisited. Date October 1, 2021. Venue The Auditorium, Blessed House International Church, 21 Akiwumi Street, Mende, Maryland, Lagos. Time 11 a.m. Ministers Pastor Rotimi Oluseye, CAC Redemption Assembly, Reverend Stella Ebebuna Whooping, and Apostle St. Peter's Bell Jigo. The revisitation mandate is brought to you by the St. Peter's Bell Jigo Foundation. Light in the dark place.
Finally, the horns that scatter marital destinies shall be shattered. Be there.
Wow. Wow. That's an awesome jingle. Very punchy. I like the end part, the on that troubled marriages. So now I heard two other names in the jingle. So you have other people ministering alongside them.
Oh yes. So we have the privilege of having Pastor Rotimi Oluseye, CSC Redemption Assembly. Now, why the privilege? Remember, I shared, before that when the Spirit of God called us into ministry, one of the things he said to us was that the prayers that the likes of Babalola prayed were fast expiring, and that we should do something about it. Now, for those of you who do not know who Apostle Ayo Babalola is, he is the founder of CAC, and Pastor Rotimi is the son of Pastor Oluseye, who was the secretary of Apostle Ayo Babalola, so I really count it an honor and a privilege to have him. And then Reverend Stella Ebebuna is my long time mentor. Praise God. I met Reverend Stella when just as I was about to get into the heat of my battle in my first marriage, and God bringing her, it was back-to-back daily mentoring. When I say daily mentoring, I mean daily, including some Sundays. And she mentored me back-to-back on daily basis, drinking from that well and wealth of God's wisdom for 3 solid years throughout the duration of that marriage. Reverend Stella was there. She stood with me. She stood by me. She fought with me, and she fought for me. She fought for my soul. I remember one day I was singing a song. She was singing a song, and I started singing the song with her. And she said, "Girl, if you sing that song long enough, God is going to place a call on your life." I was like, "What?" You can say that again. And I sang and sang and sang, and God placed a call upon my life. Now, I've always known there was a call upon my life, but then what God used Reverend Stella to do in my life is to seed the passion for His kingdom. God seeded the passion for kingdom service, in me through that woman, Reverend Stella Ebebuna. She is the founder and president of Women of Purpose International Network, WOPIN. Women of Purpose International Network. She and her husband, Apostle John Ebebuna, yes, they are missionaries. They have branches across East Africa, Kenya, South Africa, and the U.S., and of course here in Nigeria. And I know that recently they opened a mission field in Cotonou, Benin Republic. So they're doing a fantastic job in the kingdom, and I am so proud and privileged, to be mentored by Reverend Stella and Apostle John Ebebuna. And recently, 2020, I started that mentoring relationship as well with Pastor Rotimi Oluseye. Yes. And of course, Apostle Ayo Akingbade is going to be there, but not as a guest speaker. Like he's like father in the house. So, but he's going to be there. God sent him on an assignment, to us for that day, and it has been confirmed. It's, oh my God! I am looking forward, to this particular meeting. Heaven is ready. Yes, heaven
Yeah.
is already here. Heaven is already here. With signs and
Yes.
wonders to confirm it. And like you said, that you like that last part of the jingle, that finally the horns of scatter marital destinies shall be shattered. Now, just so you know, we're going to be holding a powerful prayer session on that day.
Okay.
For
Right.
marriages, for relationships, it's going to be showdown against the wicked one. Yes.
Come on.
It is. Yes.
Hallelujah. Nice. So,
Amen.
and fortunately for us, October 1st is a Friday and a public holiday. So, do you want
Yes,
to give
it
the
is.
details on the venue and how to get there?
Oh,
Because I
yes.
know that the listener
So
here will be.
Yes, it is October 1, 2021. The day is Friday, time 11 a.m. Jesus time. And it will be at the auditorium, or it will be taking place in the auditorium of the Blessed House International Church, Mente, Maryland, Lagos. And it is 21 Akinwumi Street, Mente, Maryland. We all know Mente. Mente is at the landmark bus stop is the Maryland bus stop, just by the St. Agnes's Catholic Church, where you have that big billboard. Yes, so that is Mente. All that area is Mente. And when you get in there, of course, you can see all our directional banners, to get you there. And if you're coming in from a place where does not have the directional banners, just all you need to do is ask. Mente is a popular place. It's like saying that you don't know, you say that, Mente is like the heart of the place. You can't miss it. And Jesus is already here. He is here to preach his word. We are just going to be his mouthpieces on that day.
Yeah.
He's going to have 3 microphones, and I am one of the microphones.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Apostle Jigo, of the revisitation mandate, and she has explained everything to us. And there's a program coming up next week, Friday, the 1st of October, 2021. It's a Friday and it's a public holiday. That will the program will cater to and address the broken, literally, to put it, in summary, the broken in marriage. You would come for the program and be blessed, like she rightly put, the ons that trouble marriages shall be shattered on that day. So if your marriage is a troubled one, just go ahead there to the Blessed House International Church, 21 Akinwumi Street, Mente, Maryland. Put it on your Google map so that you don't miss your way. Put it on your Google map. Tell your Uber driver, put everything on your Google map, and then it takes you right there to 21 Akinwumi Street, Mente, Maryland. The time is 11 a.m. Please do not be late. I've been to all the programs. Okay, I think I must have missed maybe 1 or 2, and I can tell you that it usually starts with an awesome worship session all through. You won't even know when the hours are counting, so you don't even want to miss it. All right. So thank you very much for coming on the show tonight, Mrs. Jigo.
Thank you for having me. I am grateful.
That's it. Yes, thank you. All right, City 1051 FM, your #1 lifestyle station. It's a wrap on the show tonight. Remember, we started by talking about conflict in marriage. Unfortunately for us, we had a guest who just wrapped it up for us with talking about, again, conflict that leads to brokenness in marriages, issues, divorce, headaches, and all the headaches. So, conflict is inevitable, but it is the way we handle it that matters. Thank you to all my listeners. Thank you once again, Mrs. Jigo. See you next time. The show makes a return next week, Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Don't touch that dial. Keep it locked down for more music on City 1051 FM. God bless you.
In the multitude of counsel, there is safety.
Talk to me. Talk to me. So you can know the real deal.
Talk to Me with Adedoja Allen.